this one on too? Okay. Oh, we still got music in the background. Hey, what's the deal, everybody? How y'all doing? Y'all now tuned in to the VK Vibe Control Radio Show. How y'all doing?
What's the deal? It's a lot to talk about.
What you think? First off, I just want everybody to know, yeah, we had to take a sabbatical, you know, it's been in quarantine and all that, you know, so, but y'all know who it is, man, Champ on the track.
I go by the name of Big Texas.
We got
a new face.
Hey.
New face.
In the building is DJ Loaded, man.
What's the deal? How everybody doing today? What y'all been on?
Quarantine.
You know, same old.
Following everything that's going on.
Locked in the house, one house
in the world. For real.
Oh, look. Let me put your headphones on, bro.
Oh,
yeah, you good, you good. You good.
He said they paid. They paid. I don't want to.
I had them on too. It's all right. I had them on too.
Okay, yeah, I can hear myself a lot better now.
Yeah.
No, but oh boy.
So what's up? What y'all got to talk about today?
I mean, what don't we got to talk about?
We got a lot to talk about, quite frankly. It is a. We're not even gonna start off there. I ain't want to start off like that because that's a touchy subject. But I know we got to talk about it.
Talk that noise, boy. Speak it.
Nah, man. I'm gonna say this. Like, you remember seeing my post the other day about having to tell the little boys that came into the studio. Yeah, man. I do it. I had to tell them stay in the car. You know, the police was pulling up to the street, but you know, I shouldn't have to tell them, you know, stay in the car.
Right.
Like, I ain't gonna cap. It made me feel some type of way.
But you got to think about it as like just as not, and that's another thing that like a lot of people are just saying black. You got to say minorities all across the board.
Yeah.
Like black, Mexican, you know, all that, Indian, all that. Because you just gotta you gotta say that in there because you know a lot of people they go through so much. You know, we you know what I'm saying. They don't respect what we talking about.
Yeah.
So
that's factual. But I think it's an issue when you're trying to run a business and it's just like you know what I'm saying? You ain't doing nothing but your normal day-to-day stuff, and it's like you can't go about your normal day-to-day without being harassed or looked at as you may be doing something. And I know how it feels doing, you know, Amazon Flex. I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with it, but, you know, I go out to the richer neighborhoods, and these are big houses, and, you know, oftentimes I'd have been followed or looked at strangely, and I've had people follow me and take pictures of my tags, and, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really doing nothing but the job that, you know, everybody else does.
Right.
I'm just the same as anybody else who's driving, and it really is just a bad thing to have to go to. You going through everyday routine and still get harassed. You know what I mean?
That's
right.
real. That's
right.
real.
You ain't doing nothing but, you know, work. Ain't nobody trying to do nothing but work and get some money. You know,
and all these, and it's crazy. You know, like you know, with all this protesting going on, I think it's. I see a lot of peacefulness both ways in a sense in the daytime, but at nighttime. I'm telling you, like I have people over in Kansas City, you know, at the plaza last night, and they were labeled as medics. They had all of their stuff on and everything. The cops came around the corner, dumped up all their medical supplies and stuff, tear gassed everybody.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
You know,
the police was dumping out the medical supplies.
Facts. So this was right after Mayor Lucas left.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is. Yeah. It's
and
really,
that was here
in Kansas City, Missouri.
See, that's one thing.
But you got to think about it. I mean, I respect the man because you know he wants to march with us now. But you know, after the fourth day.
Yeah,
I mean, you should have been. I should have been out there day one.
Come on now, you got chiefs, deputies, and all that stuff out here trying to march with these people. The first day they got together.
Yeah,
and I will say the officers that did kneel, I can appreciate that.
That was a beautiful sight.
Respect, you know,
that was a beautiful
especially
sight.
Because it was a lot of them do have, you know what I'm saying, a job to do and just trying to feed their kids. You know what I mean, and been doing this for years and can't just up and leave it because you know today something changed. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a lot of people, and I even saw that black female officer when it was
and pushed them back. I saw that.
And I can respect that too, because he was doing entirely too much, and it's like you're aggravating an already aggravated situation.
Right.
You know, and then it's like a post said about we're not trying to start a race war, we're trying to end one. You know what I mean? So
that's facts. It's been going on for over 400 years.
Yeah, it's been
Come on now, and some more.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like we all have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like and even the kids younger up under us, they got to deal with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Actually, I saw a video on my page the other day, and the man there was two men, but one of them was frustrated. He was irritated. He was like, bro, like we've been doing this and that, and ain't nothing been happening, you know, stuff like this. But dude, the other dude, he was telling me, he was like, ain't nothing happened because of the fact it's the same. It's a pattern. But then again, it's a cycle. But then again, too, he was like, the cycle got to change, not with us, but with the kids up under us.
Right.
There was a 16-year-old out there, frustrated, same emotions, all of that. Irritated, everything. But he was telling him, he was like, the change gonna start with you. He said, you see all of us out here, what you need to do, you need to stay home, you need to figure out a solution on how to change all of this.
Right. I was just saying that.
So it's crazy with him saying all of that, bro. It just was like, it kind of if it don't tap into nobody else, I know it tapped into me, because it's like, okay, if I ain't out there doing something, I could be doing something else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, you kind of gotta, and I hate to say it like this, but you kind of gotta treat the situation like like with a mental. You can't really think off of emotions and stuff like that. Which, don't get me wrong, I understand. We mad. Yeah. That's what it is. We angry. We're frustrated.
Right.
I get that. Right. But we still got to be strategic.
Right. I mean, and the thing is, you got everybody's attention now. What you gonna do?
And that's a fact, because I feel like, man, we could be strategic if we had the voice of the people to stand up and say what we need to do. Yeah, there's too much, so much has happened and nobody's speaking, especially, you know what I mean, a lot of people that was, so much black power and black empowerment, you know what I mean, those movements was just like, they had a fire to them, like, some months ago, and now, you're looking at the board, and it's like those same black leaders that were there before isn't stepping up in a time of the most need, what I mean?
Right.
Because it's, I mean, in a sense, if, I don't see it getting too much better due to the results of how things have been happening. So if we get the same results,
right,
I can only see it getting worse.
And that's why I put that post up there on my page. I said, look, you think this is bad? Wait till they say not guilty.
Yeah. And they said they was trying to give him 3rd-degree murder, which, you know what I mean? And
that's not enough.
Yeah.
There was a lady. I went to the gas station yesterday. There was a white lady that asked me, or she was talking about the stuff that was going on or whatever. She was like, what I don't get is why are people from outside places coming here messing up everything? And I said, and there was 2 black people, me and this other lady that was in the line, and she just looks dead at us. I'm like, okay, well, all right, I'll speak up. That's cool. I said, look. I said it don't some people handle things differently. I said, but at the end of the day, ain't no crime worse than a murder. Especially if you handcuffed and you ain't got no weapon on you.
And my thing is, why do people keep getting upset at the result of something? Handle the actual issue. Be upset at the issue. Be upset that the thing is happening that's causing this result. Don't be mad at the result. You know what I mean? It's just a different approach. Don't you know?
And
go ahead.
And I told the lady, I said, look, I said no matter what's going on, like, she was like, well, I thought the guy got charged. I said, look, 3rd-degree murder, manslaughter. You pay the right money, you can get off of that. You can get probation for some years, or couple months in jail. What you can get off of that.
Had that been a regular person, they would not have got that.
And that's what I told her. I said, let it would have been me out here to handcuff somebody to the floor, put my knee in their back, and have my gun on my hip. Still would have been 1st-degree murder.
Because it's I know we all got a few friends locked up, and I know I got a friend of a friend that's his time was 250 years. They were trying to give him shock time, and it's like
my bad, I mean, cut you off. I just been cutting people out.
But it's just those type of. I was just saying, it's those type of situations that's in the sense of if it was somebody else, it would be a lot stronger sentence.
Austin from my live, she said it's harder to convict 1st and 2nd degree because it requires premeditation, and they would have to prove intentional rather than recklessness. She said that's a perspective anyway.
I can understand that. But I do know that they've had less and done more.
A cop's intention is to make sure that the wherever they're getting called is okay. It's clear. If they get in trouble, get out of there. That's what they talk. So the fact is, like, the fact that you went overboard, you have people telling you to get. There's not even just one person that's on this man. They got it was 1 to the neck and 2 on the back.
Right.
So Come on now.
And then
those are all
when you talk
accessories.
about premeditated, I mean, he was on that man's neck for about 10 minutes or however long it was. It wasn't just.
I mean, he could have at that point in time he could have decided, to get up or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's all opinion or perspective. Everybody's gonna have their own opinion, but I think at the end of the day, what's going on is real, regardless.
Right. Yeah. I'm just so glad that there's so many people out here that are smart, just got smartphones. But you know what? If you got two people, have one person have their phone out, the other person go do something about it. Yeah. Because there's too many people dying just because you recording something. But I get it. You got to have that proof. I understand. You don't want to put yourself in harm's way either.
And I ain't gonna lie, man. As you know, people can say, being an officer is a very fearful job and dangerous job. But I mean, being a black man out here ain't easy. When I get pulled over, I'm nervous. And I don't have to have anything.
I ain't got nothing going on.
Man, all my tags
full
are straight,
coverage
everything.
and all that.
I just don't know if, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And then there's been times where I've been, talked to in a way that's just been, it was a time my cousin and I and some other friends that we was coming back from the lake. And we spent out, and you know what I mean. And once we got, stopped from spinning out, and we got out the car, it was at least some police officer that pulled up, and he was just like, "Can y'all get it on the side of the road?" And he was like, "We don't know yet. We're gonna try to get it out." I was like, "All right." He was like, "All right, when you get it out, put it on the side of the road." Like, okay, whatever. So we got it out and pulled over to the side of the road, and he just he had separated. He was like, "Who's the driver?" And I was like, "I am." So he was like, "Go to my squad car." So I went and sat in the squad car, and he had asked him some questions like, "Were y'all wearing y'all seatbelt? How fast were y'all going? Was y'all speeding? Anything, blah blah." So they like, yeah, we was wearing our seatbelt. We wasn't speeding. Mind you, it was raining outside. Mm-hmm. And I had a 95 Camaro. I don't know if y'all familiar with that, but and the tires was no good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's most likely we're going to spin out. You know what I'm saying? Right. So at the time, and then so he gets in the car and is like, ask me the same questions. And then he goes, I think we both can agree you were probably speeding down this highway. there's a million cars on the highway and nobody else spins out. And I'm like, no, we can't both agree to that because, you know what I'm saying?
You wasn't in my circumstance.
Yeah, you wasn't.
And I'm not about to let you think what you think is right.
And he was really looking for, all the questions he was asking was fishing for a ticket that he could give us. You know what I'm saying? And this is after we spent out. It's not, we're the, you know what I'm saying, victims if you really want to put the situation to, you know what I'm saying, into light. We're more sort of victims than anything, and it's just his approach was more so. He didn't see victim at all. He just saw, whoever he saw, black men spinning out on the highway. I mean, I don't understand why press that situation to make it seem like we were doing something wrong.
It just seemed like, where a lot of these, I feel like where a lot of minorities probably feel some type of way is because when they're going through something, they just trying to get by, and something like this happens, unexpected, like they pull you over for something, they already got an attitude with you, you already had a bad day, and this is that. We're not. Hey, look, if you're gonna give me a ticket, give me a ticket. Let me go ahead about my business. Don't get me out the car. Don't get me out the car checking my whole car for an hour, knowing you ain't gonna find nothing. I ain't got nothing in my car.
And we could also talk about the the black people that do feel otherwise. Because I had a friend of mine who, or actually my cousin and a mutual friend that we had. Was saying just that, was trying to just play the devil's advocate for a second. And, it's like, oh, maybe black people shouldn't be blaming blah, blah, blah. And, of course, we all feel different. Right. So we won't have to go deep into that to explain our side. But there is people out there who feel as though, that, half of it is up to us to stand up and to do this and make a change. You know what I'm saying? And the other half is to the other, other race or whatever it is, what I'm saying, oppressors.
You know what's crazy? All these, you know what I'm saying? Like where these black power leaders and everything like that, a lot of them ain't really. Some of, I ain't gonna lie, they've been out there, but the ones that have been in these interviews and all that other stuff, they ain't really been seeing them. Yeah, I feel like if these are the time, this is the time where y'all should organize something that
this is what they stand for,
and be like, look, this is what we here for. Right. This is what we want. Come on now.
And especially Louis Farrakhan, it's so many black leaders that's just, silent at a time like this. Exactly. It's been too long, and it's just like all that black empowerment and everything that you stood for at a time that we probably most needed, because the country in the sense of the minorities is, broken, because we tired and we, frustrated, this and that. And you can come up and say something, anything to a direction to give us some direction on what to do. And, we, in a sense of coming up with it together and just spreading the word of the Juneteenth thing where we having a Blackout Tuesday, we're just spreading that word. It isn't the black leaders coming up and saying this is what we're doing. doing.
Right.
They spread it through social media and us following along.
And why is that?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like why that's something's going on. There's a little bit more to the story, but at the same time, it's from calling it from a distance, so we can't tell exactly what it is. But I definitely don't like the silentness, and we need something. Say something, do something, because we want to bust a move, but the moves that we make, it may not be the best move.
Exactly. Exactly.
But regardless, though, we gonna make some moves. I ain't gonna lie. It's I understand that don't destroy everything, but I don't know.
At the same time, look, I've been doing my best. I've been following the conversation, but I just
I'm telling you, I'm behind it. I feel like now if
I'm trying to be cautious of what I say.
I feel you on that. But if anything, speak your mind. Because at the end of the day, be mindful. You know what I'm saying? But speak your mind. Because you can always say sorry or whatever, but you still say what you say. Stand on it.
If I gotta say something, I ain't gonna say sorry.
If I know I'm wrong, I'm gonna apologize.
Well, of course, but that's what's supposed to happen.
That's it.
They say don't ask permission, ask forgiveness. So I can understand
that. But we will take a quick break and
get back to it in a hot second.
We'll get right back to it.
Yeah, we'll get back to y'all.
All right, and we are back.
Are we?
Yes, sir.
So,
I don't know if you wanted to react to the question.
Oh, yeah. So,
we got a question during the break.
Okay, so Austin from Washington, she asked.
You probably have to talk a little bit more to him.
Yeah, talking to Mike.
My bad. Austin from Washington, she asked. She said, "Your friend was talking about black leaders not suggesting better things to do." She said, "Do y'all have any ideas?" And she wasn't really trying to say like ideas per se, but she basically was asking for a solution.
I mean, in my opinion, I think this is just my opinion of just being amongst the people that is going on with. So this is from the inside casting I don't have the outside looking in point of view, but I think in a sense of just where the money is, you start making commands on. These days we don't spend money and we make that thing happen, because at the end of the day, when it comes to the money, it begins to mess up the economy for everybody. It's not just us or black people or whatever. It messes up everybody needs the money.
But you got to think about it. How many people is really gonna stop?
And that's what I'm saying. But with the black leaders, if they were to come, I think it would be way more encouraging than to just be sending something over Instagram and Facebook, because there are the older generations. If they knew a day, if they knew, they may not be on social media as much, but if they knew, put it in the paper or on the news or whatever, or on black social media sites
in general.
But that's just push it.
Old school and new school.
I feel like that's the downfall of the media. Ain't got our back for real. You know what I'm saying? The media they portray
whatever
a whole different picture than what's going on.
And with that being said, I feel like I forget who said it, but it was maybe an artist or something. But they were saying that we should basically go to either Africa or wherever and start our own everything. You know what I'm saying? We don't need this. We don't need them. We don't need this westernized mentality, or just you basically build our own where we can. You know what I'm saying? And this wasn't built for us. This was built by us, but wasn't built for us. You know what I mean? But that's just one opinion. I think if we took and did our own, we just build our black social media. We invest in ourselves, and it's just it's got to switch, and it's gonna take some time. But after a while,
but that's in my eyes, bro. I feel like that's a sense of, excuse my word, but I feel like that's a sense of running. You know what I'm saying? If there's something that's going on, speak up about it.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Try to see what the best solution that you can do. You know what I'm saying? Try to get it. All these people that's rallying, try to get in contact with these leaders. You know what I'm saying? Ask, hey, what? We got everybody. What do we do?
That's what I'm saying. Like taking this wasn't why not build black and no matter where you do it, it's cool to be here no matter where you do it. But if we can have our but if we can have our own superior generations, you can go where the average can go, where resources can go, rich people. You know what I'm saying? That's you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A lot of things, that we can tap back into. A lot of things, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's So I feel like that's why it's better here. They ain't got people convinced that it's better here, and it ain't. That's not the case.
But what I'll say, what I'll say so much. But my problem, I feel like some issue with us. And don't nobody like the process. Don't nobody like the process. You have leaders, but everybody else got to put in the work.
I agree with that. I think I agree with that. I think there's this, I think there's a little bit more to it. That too. There's a lot of us follow. It's just like people who have, you know what I'm saying? We may not say, you know what I'm saying? We all may not be happy in life, you know what I'm saying? We all want to do what we love in life, you know. Some people, they love what they got going. Some people, they the best, but we don't see that. We see that best. We don't see that. So it's just those disagreements and mentalities. We have to find a way to mentality. Well, we have to find a way to.
I wasn't talking about like I wasn't necessarily talking about African Americans as a whole. I mean, I was just as a whole aspect. I mean, I was just change. Why? When a change.
That's what you see. You see coming together, bro. That's what I'm saying. The world,
That's what
We live. We live. Why?